And welcome to the IG webinar platform tutorial. My name is Adbul Salad and I will be your host for this webinar. So the purpose of this webinar is to walk you through our platform to show you how it works, how to place trades, manage your risk and make the most of our platform and all of its features. But before I proceed, I will show you our risk warning. Please do take a moment to have a read through and we will proceed shortly. Okay, so when you first log into the IG platform, this is the page you will be greeted with. So this is your dashboard. So anything admin related will be located here. So first things first, you'll see a list of all the accounts you do have. For the purpose of this webinar, we will be going through the SpreadBets platform. So you can access any of the accounts you do have by simply clicking the Open Platform button. But before I do proceed, one question we do get asked is, before you do get started on an account, how do you fund your account? So if you click on the Live Accounts button here, make sure you are viewing the correct account that you wish to fund. So in this case, we'll stay on SpreadBet. And you can see the Deposit Funds button here. So normally you'd have three options, card probably being the most common one, alongside PayPal and bank transfers. But as you can see here, you have other payment options, whether it's withdraw funds, transfer funds, and so forth. So to go back to the original page, you just click on Dashboard at the top. And then once you're ready, click on the Open Platform button, and it should take you to the IG platform. So again, this is the page you will be first greeted with when you first log on. So this is your workspace. So effectively, it is a blank canvas to begin with, and that is done deliberately. You know, we understand everyone has different preferences and different tastes and would like different layouts to one another. So it allows you to kind of create it based on your needs and your preferences. So I will build this out as the webinar does go along to my own preferences once more. But again, do bear in mind, if you prefer things in a different way, this is completely customizable. So when you first log on, if you have funds in the account and you have deposited, right here towards the top on the right-hand side, you should see at all times what your funds are, any running profit and loss, what the margin requirements are, and then subsequently what the available balance will be. On the right-hand side, you have notifications and tweets. So the notifications will be usually anything coming from IG. So this could be anything in-house, like when we go live with the TV studio with IG Live, as you can see here, we've had one recently. But also you'll receive all other types of notifications in terms of your positions and your activity. So every time you open the position, close a position and amend a position, you'll get the notifications there, so you can keep on top of that. You also have tweets here. So this will come from a range of reputable kind of places online, constantly coming throughout the day. So you can see here, literally in the last few minutes, we've had numerous notifications, and they will be covering kind of all market news related events. So again, if you want to be kept up to date with the market, with any major breaking news stories, you know, that's a good way to keep updated with that. Now, in terms of the actual markets itself, if you have a look on the left-hand side, at the very top, you do have the search function. So if you know exactly which market it is you are interested in checking out, you can simply just type it in. Alternatively, you do have on the left-hand side all the major headings of all the major markets, so indices, FX, shares, commodities, and so forth. So if you want to follow a range of different markets, we also have our watch lists here, which I will go into a bit more detail later on. But for the sake of building out our workspace, which I was referring to earlier, initially, any button you click on here at this stage will be temporary. So I've clicked on Wall Street, which is a Dow Jones. As soon as I click out of this, it will disappear and resort to its original state effectively. However, if any of these options I want to permanently keep on my screen because it's a market or a watch list or anything in particular I want to keep permanently, what I can do is click on this button here, which says Add to Workspace. So if I click on that now, it will pop out. And then I can literally place this wherever I want in whatever shape or form. So I'll list it for us here. And then there can be other things that you'd want to always keep on top of. So for me, positions, which will monitor your open positions, I will just add that here now. And something else I normally like to keep there will be orders. So these are things and examples I will be showing later on, which will make sense later. What you also have to do is kind of use a tab system rather than putting it on top of each other. So I've got positions here as a tab, and I've got working orders here, which I can always click on as well. So what we will do first, and the most commonly asked question we always do get, is how do I place a trade? Now, bear in mind, I have my popular markets here. I can search for it. I can look inside of what market it belongs to, or if I have it on the front of my screen, I can simply just click on it here. So the FTSE 100 is a market we'll be going through as an example now. Now, as it's been popped out, I can shape this into the size that I want and place it wherever I want in that case. Or for the purpose of this webinar, just because I want it to be clear, I will maximize it on this occasion. Now, once you click on the market, you will normally have your chart to the left-hand side, and to the right-hand side, you'll have the all-important deal ticket. So this is effectively where you can open a position live in the market at the current prices. So initially, the first thing you'll have to decide is whether you want to buy or sell to enter this market. So for this example, we will go buy, which is also known as going long, and sell, which is known as also as going short. So the current price, obviously it's fluctuating because the market is currently open at the moment, but it's roughly 72.24 to buy. Next thing I need to decide once I've decided on direction is the size. So for the spread bet account, you need to decide in pounds how much you want to risk for every point movement. So for this example, I will decide on 1. That means I am risking £1 for every point movement the FTSE makes. So currently it is 72.23 at the moment, 0.5, I should say, and a half. Now, if the market then goes to 72.24 spot 5 and it's gone up by 1 pip or 1 point, I have made £1 profit in that particular example. If I had chosen to do £10 a point, then I would have made £10. So the larger your size is, the more you are risking for every point movement. Now, the next important thing we have here is a stop. Now, this can be incredibly important, particularly if you are new to trading. It's one of the key risk management strategies you can use to help protect yourself on the downside. Now, there are different versions of stop losses, and I will go through some of the different examples, but for now, we will go through just the normal stop loss. So for this stop loss, if I choose to put a stop loss, which is 20 points away, what I'm effectively saying is if the market is 72.24, 20 points below that, which I can see here, which is 72.04, I want the market to close my position. Now, given that I am doing £1 a point in this example, you can see here what that means in pounds, how much I would lose. So long as the market goes to 72.04 and a half, given the current prices, the request will be triggered to close out my position. The next option you have here is the limit. So it's the opposite of a stop loss. It's a take profit, it's a target. So in this example, again, I type in 20. So since I am buying on this occasion, 20 points above 72.24 and a half is roughly 72.44 and a half as things stand. And again, as soon as I plug in these figures, what the ramifications are of that decision should be displayed just underneath. So you can see here at the current prices, again, it is always moving. Currently 20 points above is 72.45, and given I am doing £1 a point, it will mean I will take £20 profits. So whenever you are filling this in, particularly for the first time, it's always a good idea potentially just to check these figures below to see if those figures there corresponds to what your initial thoughts are. If they are, fantastic. Sounds like you've used it correctly. Feel free to go ahead. However, if those figures don't look right to you, it may be worth double checking potentially your size or your point figures for your stops or your limits, just to make sure what may be wrong so you can get the correct figures for what you're looking to do. Now, the next important part is the margin. So the margin is how much you need as a minimum for this position to be able to open up this account. So given the fact that I am doing £1 a point on the FTSE, the margin will be £361 as the margin percentage for major indexes is 5%. Now, the percentage will vary from market to market. So the percentages will be different for currencies, for shares, commodities, and so forth. And the other key variant in this is the price of the actual market that you're trading on and the size that you're doing. The bigger your size, the bigger the market that you're trading on, the more that 5% is going to represent and the larger the margin will be. So long as you have at least a minimum of £361, you will be able to open up this position. In an ideal world, you'd have a larger balance than that, so you can cover any potential losses before going on to a potential margin call. So once you are happy with all the figures here, all you'd have to do now is press place deal. So I will go ahead and buy the FTSE currently at 72.24 spot 5 at £1 a point. Now that position has been confirmed, you'll get a green box here notifying you of the relevant levels. Also, if I go back to notifications here, you can see I've got the position open. And also on my chart, you can see I've got £1 a point, the current profit and loss on that position, and where my stop and where my limit is currently at the moment. If at any stage I do wish to change that stop or limit, I can just click on my stop and potentially move it up or down. So that's one way I can change my stop or limit. Alternatively, if we go back to working orders, positions, I should say, in this case, you can see I have my stop and limit here, and I can change them at any stage. So that's one example of how to buy a particular market. Now I will go through a different example. We'll go for a currency pair, in this case, another popular version. So we'll go for the EURUSD, which is another popular market. So in the first example, we went through a buy, I should say. Now on this occasion, I want to sell you a sell position. Now, theoretically, we're pretty much doing the same things again, but the key difference is you're selling to open. So you need to click on that sell to open button at the top. Again, the size, you would pick whichever amount in pounds you want to risk for every point movement. So again, for this example, we will go for £1 a point. Now, for FX, normally for most major currency pairs, the EURUSD will be typically quoted as 1 spot 16.12 to sell currently at the moment, because it trades to 4 decimal places. On the spread bet account, we do make things easier for you by moving those 4 decimal numbers in front of a decimal place rather than behind. So for you to understand what a 1 point or 1 pip movement is, all you have to do is look at the last whole number, which we usually highlight in a larger font. So in this case, it will be that 2, which is just now changed to a 3. So when that market goes from 116.13 to down to 116.12, you know that's a point movement. And if I'm doing £1 a point and I'm selling it, I will make £1 in that particular example. Now, for the stop loss, on this occasion, I will go for a guaranteed stop loss instead. Now, why would you use a guaranteed stop loss as opposed to a normal stop loss? Now, using the previous example where we had the FTSE, if the market were to fall by 20 points where we had our stop loss, no problems. It will go through our level, our request to close will be initiated, and our position will be closed at 20 points below, assuming that price is available. However, what can happen, particularly in volatile markets, is markets can gap or they can jump by more than 1 point or 1 pip. Sometimes markets can move 10 points at a time, 20 points at a time, or even more, depending on how volatile it is. So if I have a stop loss at 20 points away and the market jumps by, let's say, 30 points, I'm effectively being closed out 10 points lower than where I initially wanted to. So 10 points worse off. Now, if you want to avoid that situation, what you can do, the option you have is to go for a guaranteed stop loss. So if I go for 20 points, what I'm basically requesting here is a guaranteed closure of 20 points below the markets from where I enter. So if the market does gap by even, let's say, a very large amount, 100 points, it doesn't matter, I will be closed at 20 points below guaranteed. Now, for that, there is a premium that you will need to pay if it is triggered. So you can see here it is 1.2 points for Euro USD currently. So given that I'm currently doing £1 a point, 1 times 1.2 is £1.20. So if that is triggered and if the market does fall by 20 points from where I entered, I would pay £1.20 for the benefit of absolutely guaranteeing that price. If I end up closing the position manually or it hits my limit and my take profit of, let's say, 20 again, in this case, then I won't pay anything at all effectively. And again, like last time, you can see the guaranteed stop and the limit that I have here are displayed on a chart, so you can have a visual representation. And also, if you want to amend them using the charts rather than the figures that I'm using, you can slide them up and down if you do prefer this. So again, once you're happy with the figures, the sizes, and the direction, you can just go ahead and click on Place Deal, which we will now. And again, we can see that position has been confirmed. So going back to the main screen, so I will close this Euro USD position now. So you can see here, obviously with my popular markets at the top, I also have positions here just below, and now I do have 2 positions here. So I have a FTSE 100, which is £1 a point buy. Got the Euro USD position here as well, £1 a point sell. So you can see the -1 and the +1. You can see the current stop losses and limits I have. So you can remember with the Euro USD, we did go for a guaranteed stop loss. So you can see the G here, which denotes that. And then you can see the profit and loss on these positions currently. And widening this box for you, you can also see the close button here as well. So finally, one thing I did want to show you, and on top of what we've gone through so far, let's go for a stock in this case to give you something different. So let's go for Rolls Royce, which has been a popular option lately. So I'll pop that out for the time being. Now, because it's currently just past 4:30, obviously the UK markets are currently closed at the moment, so I won't be able to do a live deal at the moment. You get that message, market is not currently open to trade. So this gives me an option. I can, instead of a live deal, go for an order. And by the way, order doesn't have to be just when the market is closed. The markets can also be open and you can set an order at any stage as well. So the difference is with an order, you're not buying something at the current prices right now. What you're requesting is to buy or sell this current market at a particular price level of your choosing. So typically, again, we have to choose between the buy and the sell. So let's go for a buy again. And again, let's go for the same size of £1 a point. Now, the important part here then will be the price level and what level do you want to enter at. So previously, the buy level was set at 132.68. I may potentially be interested in trying to get in at a better price. So I could type in 130. And what that effectively is me requesting is if the market does go down to 130 on the buy side, I want my order to be executed for £1 a point buy. If the market doesn't go down to 130, that will just remain in my order book. For how long will depend on what you choose on your expiry here. So as you can see, the first option is good till cancelled. So again, that will just remain there until I cancel it or it comes into effect. Otherwise, if you only want this order for a particular period of time, you can have good till date where you can pick any date and any time. And if it isn't triggered by that stage, it will be deleted effectively and it will never come to fruition. So for the purpose of this example, we'll go back to good till cancelled. And again, you have your stop losses as per usual, with a normal and a guaranteed as an option. So again, we'll just go with the examples we've already gone for in terms of 20. You can see here, you can see an indication of what that would cost you and what the price would be for that. You can see again here what the margin is as well. And again, this is all visually represented. So as I mentioned before, this is just one example. If you prefer to do any of these options via the chart, you can do that as well. So once you're happy, because this is a better price than where I'm entering, it will be a limit order. Once I'm happy, I click on this and that order is now submitted. So if I close this chart for you now, previously we had positions here. If I go to working orders, you can see now I've got an order pending on Rolls Royce for £1 a point at 130, and I can see what the current price is with the stop and the limit for you there. So now that we've established how to open in a position, whether it's a live position or whether it's an order, next important thing to know is, how do I get out of these positions? How do I close these positions? Now, one option, as you can probably see here, is you can just click on the close trade button via your position. So if I click on close here, before I confirm it, it will ask me what size I want. So on this example, I'm happy to close the whole position because I'm buying originally for £1 a point, effectively asking for it to sell £1 a point. So once I click close, that position is now closed. So if I were to go on history here now, you can see I've got one position there, which closed for a loss of £1.20, and that was the opening and that was the closing price. Now, I've got one more position here. Now, there may be an occasion whereby you don't want to close the whole position. You may want to close a partial amount. So if you remember, when I clicked on close, it asked me the size here. So I could maybe say I only want to close half of the position, so 50p a point worth. I change that to 0.5, I click on close, and now you can see I'm left with exactly half of that position. So you are able to do partial closes rather than a full amount if that is what you do prefer. Same goes for the orders. Again, if for whatever reason you no longer wish to have that order and you want to get rid of it, again, you can see the delete button here. So again, I click on that once and that order is now gone as well. So that's the important part of opening and closing a position. The other important parts, which I alluded to earlier in terms of the features of the platform, was our watch lists. So this version here, if I just maximize it for you now, is an IG watch list in terms of the popular market. So we'll populate here with all the most commonly traded markets that most IG customers trade with. However, there may be a situation whereby you want your own designed watch list with specifically the markets that you're interested in. So to do that, click on watch lists and you can create your own watch list pretty much. So if I just create a new one here, let's just call this new watch list. So now I would just have to look for any particular market that I want. So let's just go for the FTSE. So if I right click on it, click on add to watch list, I can add it here to new watch lists. If I go on to another market, I could go on natural gas, add to watch list, new watch list. So now I've got two options there. Let's just say I'll get rid of popular markets to put my own one on there. Click on new watch list, got the two markets which I've just added. Click on add to workspace, and that will now be populated here as well. You can also have more than one watch list, so I can create multiple. So I can type in here second watch list, and I can also have that on the platform as well. So that part is entirely up to yourself. Now, in terms of the markets, another important part of the platform is the charting package. So again, this is highly customizable in terms of how you prefer it to look, whether it's the color combinations, the type of candlesticks that you do have. A lot of the options you do have will be listed here. So to begin with, I'm currently using candlesticks at the moment. You know, what do I want each candlestick to represent? So if I just want hourly candlesticks, I click on that and it will cover a larger period of time. However, if I want to dictate exactly what period of time I want to see on my screen, I can click on here and click on 1 day, and this will literally just show me what's happened over the last day, and I can click on all the other options we do have as well. This will be just giving me one chart, so if you do want to look at different time periods all at the same time, you can click on here. I can click on 2 charts, and you can see here I've got a 15-minute candlestick here. I've got daily candlesticks here as well to give you multiple different charts. Also here, we do have a large list of different indicators which are available to you. If we just go for an example here, so let's go for RSI, Relative Strength Index. As soon as I click on an indicator, it will appear at the bottom of the screen. Normally, each indicator will have different parameters, which you can always adjust to your preference as well. And then on top of that, you have various different drawing tools as well that you can use. So this charting package is IG charting package, which will cater for the vast majority of our customers. You have, roughly about 25 different indicators on here. However, for those who want more advanced charting package and access to even more indicators, over 100, to have the ability to do, back testing and various other advanced tools, we do have an additional program called Pro Real-Time, which is a subscription-based program you can apply for, which is free to customers who do over 4 trades or transactions in a single month. Other things to be aware of that a lot of people do find useful. For each particular market, we do have a market data section to provide you with information. So to give you an example, if I click on Tesla now, this is the chart. So let's add to Workspace, make it larger for you. If you click on this button here, there will be a market data button here, which if I click on, it will open up an individual dedicated page for Tesla. So each market will have its own individual page. You'll have various sets of information here. So you'll have kind of Reuters financial videos, and also different articles and news relating to that particular stock here. So you can see with Tesla, obviously it's a big market, so there's going to be various articles on the internet which do refer to it. Other sets of information you have is like client sentiment. So you get to see data from IG's customers in regards to what type of positions people are taking out in terms of buying and selling. And it breaks it further down here into like last hour, day, week, and month for you to get an idea of what other people's actions are. You also have various other sets of information here, fundamentals for that particular stock, broker ratings, and various other sets of information. So for each individual market, each one will have its own market data page. Additionally, on top of that, on the left-hand side on our platform, you've also have news and analysis section. So this is covering a variety of different types of markets you can always cover. So this is IG content and news and information that we do provide. You've also got signals. So these aren't provided by IG, they are provided by third-party providers that we work with in PIA First and Auto Chartist. So they provide signals based on technical analysis. So normally they'll give you their analysis down below, and they'll also give you different levels that they would suggest based on that analysis. So if you're in agreement with the entry, the stop, and the limit, and it's a trade you want to take, you can click on the copy to order button, and that will put the order into your order book for you. And then finally, we do have the economic calendar at the bottom of the platform, which will open up as a pop-out, so you can check that any day to see what events are up and coming. And at the bottom, we do have here settings, where there are certain features that you can enable, whether it comes to remembering your deal sizes, your stops and limits, and so forth. Currently, this platform, in terms of settings as a theme, is set to light, but if you prefer dark, you can go for dark as well, and that will be saved for you. So those are the most important parts of our platforms that should help you get started at any time. However, if there are any questions you still do have about our platform, please do feel free to give us a call on our new business department number, or alternatively our help desk, which is open 24 hours. I hope you have found this very useful. Thank you for your time once more, and hopefully we will see you in an IG webinar in the future. Have a lovely day and take care now.